Welcome to Your House Matters. I'm John Charbonneau with TMG, the Mortgage Group. Joining me today is Neil Hamilton from McDonald Realty. Neil is a veteran of the real estate market, and today we're going to review the top 5 questions that home buyers ask. And starting with question number 5, when someone is looking at buying a property, do you advise getting a home inspection?
John, other than the price you pay for a home, the most important thing is what you're buying. And the inspection, absolutely positively, is one of the most important things in that home buying process. And one of the things I tell my clients is, because they'll ask me, well, I'm buying a new property. Should I get an inspection of a new property? Absolutely, you should get an inspection, because it's basically under warranty, and the builder will have a warranty, and he'll have warranties from his suppliers, and they will fix anything. If there's deficiencies, they will fix them. So on a used properly, absolutely. The other quick thing I'd like to jump in on with regard to like say detached properties, because many times with those you'll get into multiple offers. If it's a multiple offer and you have to come in subject free, get a pre-inspection. Make sure you know what you're buying.
Oh, brilliant idea. Now, one of the things that might pop up when a home inspection is done is an oil tank. So if I'm a buyer and I'm looking at buying a single-family home, some of the ones that were built 80 or 90 years ago, there might be an oil tank on the property. What do you recommend the buyer do?
Well, with oil tanks, it is supposed to be up to the seller to inform the buyer that there's an oil tank on the property, or that there was an oil tank on the property and it's been remediated. If you're not sure, it is well worthwhile to get a qualified oil tank company, and there's many of them out there, who will come in, and they have these things now almost like Geiger counters, where they don't have to dig anywhere, they just put it around the lot and they find out if there's something that looks like an oil tank. Because I can tell you that an oil tank, they say an oil tank may take $3,000 to get out. Most of them do, but some of them take a lot more than that. And I had one case where it was $125,000 because of the remediation that was needed, and it was all up to the seller to pay that. So absolutely, it's mostly detached homes. It's mostly the older ones where they had the oil converted to gas. Most of the tanks have been filled with sand or are empty, but some of them aren't, and one of the ones we found wasn't. So absolutely, detached home, older, make sure you get checked for an oil tank.
Good. Now, home prices, especially here in British Columbia, very, very expensive. If I was a home buyer, I certainly wouldn't want to overpay for a property. So what's your advice when people say, Neil, I don't want to overpay? How do you make sure that the person doesn't overpay for a property?
Well, this is where your realtor comes in, John. A good realtor will always do a lot of comparables for you to give you an idea of what the marketplace is like. Remember another thing, there's the market and then there's sub-markets within that market. There's no real estate market. There is all the sub-markets. Detached in a certain area, condos in another area. For what you're buying, make sure you know what the general prices are for the type of property you're going to buy. If it's a condo, if it's a 2-bedroom versus a 1-bedroom, if it's a detached, depending on the area, depending on neighborhood, there's always going to be a general average price. And again, condition of the property, if it's detached, if it needs work, if it doesn't need work, has it had upgrades. So there's all kinds of things that weigh into pricing. But a good realtor will always show you what the comparables are and what you should be paying for a given property in a given area at a given time of year.
Something like heart surgery, don't try and do it on your own.
That's right.
Use the professional services of a realtor.
That's right.
Now, a lot of people buying condominium-style properties, whether it be an apartment condo or a townhome condo, lots of things to consider over and above that which you consider for a single-family home. How does a person ensure that they're buying a good strata property?
This is a very loaded question, and I'll tell you why. The fact of the matter is, if you get right down to it, John, you really don't know. You really don't know, okay? Because a place could check out, you could read all the minutes of a strata, and everything could be fine now. 3 months from now, something could go wrong. However, there's a way to mitigate that. What I always do, of course, as a good buying realtor, I make sure I read the minutes very, very carefully in any of the strata that I'm looking to buy for a client. I can usually tell within about 2 minutes if that's a well-run strata or not. You can tell by the way the minutes are compiled, by the way the strata meetings are run. You can usually tell if you're buying into a good strata building that way. The only other thing you can do is to do everything possible to find out what has been done already. Has the plumbing been looked at? How old is the roof? Has it been addressed for leaks? Does the building look like it's in good repair? Because if it looks like it's in good repair, generally the small stuff takes care of the big stuff. So the real answer is no, you're never 100% sure, but the fact of the matter is if it looks like a well-run strata, chances are you're okay.
So it really comes down to knowing the right questions to ask, and if you're not experienced in buying stratas, make sure you call someone like yourself and make sure that you work with them to ask all the right questions.
That's right. That's right. If I can add one other quick thing, depreciation reports. They're a big thing now. A lot of the stratas are doing that. See if the strata has one. If not, why not?
I think we'll take a whole new interview and talk about depreciation reports.
We should do that. That would be a great idea.
Okay, so next question. The number one question home buyers are asking, and this is kind of an interesting one because both you and I have been in real estate for probably more years than we want to admit at some point in time. But the big question, is it a good time to buy real estate? And we'll focus that on, say, the Vancouver Lower Mainland.
It's always a good time to buy real estate, John.
Somehow thought you might say that, but what's your rationale for that?
Yeah, of course that's the realtor answer. The fact of the matter is, it depends on what you want. Do you have kids? Are you just a couple? Are you an investor? For an investor, of course, investors try to time the market. They try to buy low and sell high. And that's a given, because with investors, it's all about money. But if you're a family, and a family can be a family of two, it doesn't have to have kids. But if you're a family, it's what you want. It's what you want out of an area. It's what you want out of where you're going to be living. Is it close to transit? Is it close to where we work? Does it have good schools for the kids? Does it have parks? So it's not just the market timing. The other thing is, I know a lot of realtors will tell you this, but it really is true. Vancouver's the kind of market where if you're buying long term, you will do well. You'll always do well in Vancouver long term. If you're trying to do a flip, that's a whole different story, and that may be a topic for another time too. But the fact of the matter is, think about what you want, not just market timing, especially if you're a family. So
the best time to buy was yesterday. The next best time to buy is today, and after that, it's tomorrow.
That's right.
Get off the fence if you're sitting there, and let's get you into the real estate market. So there you have it, the top 5 questions that home buyers are asking professional realtors like Neil. We're going to have Neil back, and we're going to talk about the top 5 questions that home sellers are asking. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you in our next video.
Thank you.